Aha, bonjour, Gakinawiya. Greetings to everyone this evening. Welcome to World Water Day. It's been snowing out here all day long. It stopped a little while ago. It looks like it's raining now a little bit, but that water is so powerful. And I really appreciate it in all the forms that it does come down. And so I give thanks to that Nebe Mato Wabo. We're just waiting for a few more people to arrive into the virtual lodge here. It's like you guys are all coming into a big wigwam. Lots of people are coming through the wigwam doors. Have a seat. I'm smudging you all down as you come through. Hey, bonjour, Sheila. Looks like I'm flapping my wings, eh? We have Judy de Silva here with us this evening with her daughter, her Oscabe. And we have Leanna Marshall in the wigwam here. I was going to say in the house. It's always nice to come together. It's when we come in person though, that's lately it's just been so amazing, like the powwows that are happening around here in Thunder Bay area. It's been pretty amazing. We're just waiting for a few more people to come through. Freedom, nothing, is she there? Calling out for freedom, nothing. Oh, there she is. Bonjour.
Sorry about that. I wasn't able to unmute myself.
Can you guys hear me? Bonjour? Okay, good. I was wondering if I was talking into the air there for a while.
So we should get started because we're at 6:35. So we just want to welcome everybody tonight to our World Water Day event, virtual lodge gathering, Nibe Water Protected Teachings and Stories with Judy de Silva and Leanna Marshall. So my name is Freedom Nothing. I'm the trauma-informed land-based coordinator here in Thunder Bay. So we just want to say bonjour and welcome to everybody for spending some time with us this evening. So we're going to start with our land acknowledgement from one of our co-workers, Catherine Steele. Is Catherine here?
Yeah, she's here.
Perfect.
I see her come through the wigwam doors.
Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
Good evening, Catherine. Good evening. So we're so grateful that you're going to be doing our land acknowledgement to start our evening off tonight.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Catherine Steele. Kiwitanang Ikwe is what my spirit name is. I am from the Eagle Clan, and I am also a Port William First Nation member. I am so proud to welcome you all here to our territory, Robertson Treaty, 1850, and it just gives me great pleasure for everyone to join us this evening. And I'll give it back to you, Freedom.
We wish for that, Catherine. So as I was saying, tonight we're going to have two special guest speakers. Our first one is Judy de Silva. She's an Anishinaabe-Quag from Grassy Narrows First Nation located in Treaty 3 area. She is a lifelong advocate for environmental protection as well as an award-winning advocate for Indigenous rights and ecological justice. She is a mother, grandmother, auntie, and a wife. She's a knowledge keeper and a pipe carrier. Her passion is our culture and way of life. She learned the water teachings from the late Josephine Vandamme, who taught Judy that we are all water carriers. She instructed Judy to teach as many women as she can about water and to make sure that they do the water ceremonies all over our waters because they are needed. So welcome, Judy. And then our second guest speaker after Judy is Leanna Marshall. Leanna is a self-taught artist, social worker, and indigenized art therapist who tells stories of her ancestors and of the land through textile, piece, performance art, and poetry. Leanna Marshall is an Anishinaabe and English descent. She was born and raised in Thunder Bay, and she's a band member of KI, formerly Big Trout Lake First Nation. She is a mother of 2 vibrant daughters who keep her humble and silly. Like you, Leanna loves water and honors it through play, ceremony, and lifestyle choices. She uses creative opportunities to work with community to encourage connection and strengthen relationships to all of our relatives. So we're so lucky to be spending the evening with these 2 ladies tonight. Some quick housekeeping before we start, if everybody can keep themselves muted. We're going to have a question and answer period for our facilitators at the end of the session. So as we go along throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat box and we'll get to them at the end when we come to that period. So next, we're going to be moving to Audrey, who is going to be doing the welcome prayer and water song.
Aha, bonjour. Bonjour, Gishimanado. Nokumsak, Mishomasak. Chimigo Chwabanang, Shawanang, Ningabewanang, Kiwatanang. Chimigo Chasin, Girigans, Oesak, Ayaak. Chimigwich Minabamaz win for the good life that we have each and every day. Chimigwich Nebe Manitowabo for the water and the spirit of the water and all the spirits that are in the water, Creator, as you watch over them. Chimigwich for Gun today for the snow that's falling and the rain. Give me one. It's been raining all afternoon here. So Chimigwich for all the water in the world, the water within us. You know, that we honor that water. So I want to watch over each and every one of you. So when you're crying, you're cleaning your water, you're purifying it. When you're laughing, you're doing the same thing. So it's really important to move your blood, your water that's within you to make you feel good. So with that, I want to sing this song. It's from Doreen Day. And she was at this conference with a Japanese scientist, and he did all kinds of experiments on the water. And so her grandson, she was sharing the story about how, you know, to be talking to the water. And we know that as Anishinaabe, as Indigenous people, to talk to the water and to give thanks to that water and not to fear the water. And so she was telling her grandson this. And I guess one day her grandson said, why don't you sing to the water, not just talk to it, but sing to it? And so she came up with the words, you know, it's about we thank you, we love you, and we respect you. And to sing it with your voice, to give a part of yourself. And so that's what happened. That's what came to her through her grandson, that encouragement. So it goes like this, and give thanks to Nebe. I have the offerings here for the water, for the earth, our mother, for our ancestors, and also for you, for your life, for everything that you have in it. So give thanks for and our future generations to come, and offering to the earth for that. So this song goes like this. Nebe gijage go Gimme gwetwe mi go Gijawe go Nebe Gijage Ego. Gimme gwedweni migo. Gijawe ego. Nebe. Gijage ego. Gimme gwedweni migo. Gijawe ego. Nebe. Gijage ego. Gimme gwedweni migo. Gijawe. Miigwech nebe. Chimigwech manitowabo. I think about our children every time I sing that song, and for our future generations to come, that the earth, our mother, will continue to take good care of us. As long as we take good care of her and everything that nourishes her, all of the elements, we must take care of that. We must take that individual responsibility to watch over the water, the nebe, the manto wabo. When you do that, you're taking care of yourself. Aho miigwech. Nijumigo nindigo, wajash nandodem. Anizadaki nindoji, ajudira nindigenakaz. Aho miigwech.
Miigwech Audrey, that was absolutely beautiful. And I know that's one of the songs that Judy actually shared with us last year when she joined us for World Water Day. So miigwech for that. So moving on, we are going to ask Judy de Silva and her daughter, her Skabe. I'm not sure. Do you know how to say that, Audrey?
Oh, Shkabeos.
Good evening, ladies. Welcome.
Hi, bonjour.
Hi.
Can you hear us all right? Okay, we're in the wigwam. He didn't move down.
Yeah.
Yikes. The camera just moved on by itself. The spirits are probably doing their own technical work. We're in we are in the wigwam in our territory, Grassy Narrows, and I'll let my daughter introduce herself too.
Bonjour, Nin Kani Kani Bijou Benesik, Mashketa Vishika Benesikra, Gigo Gitita. Hi, I'm Eduardo Silva, and
That's it for now.
that's it for now.
So like the way Audrey described this to me was like we're in the virtual wigwam with this Zoom, they call it. And I wanted to explain that a little bit because it's so amazing that we can reach so many people using this electronics. And my late mom, what she said is that like when she was going through chemotherapy for cancer, she said the Benesuk were helping her, and she said the thunder beings were in that radiation treatment, and that's what helped her accept that treatment. And so that's kind of how I think with this Zoom is like it's like the magic of the thunder beings working with us to be able to communicate today. On my side here, I sent a picture to Audrey, but it shows a copper pail and it shows a copper cup and sema. So what I learned when I went to Mi'kmaq territory like long time ago was what they told us that the water listens when we talk. So one of the women that was from out west, what she said is that every meeting we go to protect land and water for our people, we should always have a cup of water. And sometimes I'm in government meetings and I don't have my copper cup, but I'll have like a glass cup, and I'll pray. I'll secretly pray with that as we're negotiating. And like after I'll drink. I'll drink some and I'll save a little bit and I'll pour it on the earth. So like that. So when we work with water, there's so many ways to do this ceremony. It's not just one way. And I wanted to share that we don't have a food offering here today, but we just have the copper vessel. And I hope Audrey can show that picture after when she can, of the setting we have on the left with the water. So the water is listening to us. And I'd like to take a moment for any listeners, that are near water. If you can just run and go grab like a little bit of water and just put it beside. Oh, yeah, there it is. Just put it beside you as we're talking about water right now. And some people, may have forgotten to do that, but Audrey, she's a water carrier, so she had that instinct to do that already. The main thing I wanted to share today was about the snow that's happening. I was supposed to be heading out traveling today, but the snow stopped us, so we listened to that and we respect that. And like Audrey was saying, it is also water, and we honor that snow. One of my sisters, Chickadee, gave me a skirt and it had like 4 different colors on there. And she said that's the glacial water, the ice, and then the snow and water. So she said there's so many different variations of nipe, and she takes care of us, like in everything that we do. Every day that we're alive, we need that water. And right now, as we're sitting in this wigwam, there's like dripping, like the water's dripping in front of me, and there's like a big ice on the ground, and we have a sacred fire going, and we put our tobacco down for that. So for the teaching I wanted to share today was this is really precious to me right now. Is our people are traveling from 4 communities to Toronto on next week. And what's happening on our territories is mining. And in Grassy Narrows alone, what I found out through our chief, Rudy Turtle, is that there's 4,000 applications for mining. And that's just in Grassy Narrows territory, 4,000 applications. So there's like these companies really hungry for the minerals in the rock. And the other thing we face is the nuclear waste disposal that's supposed to come from Southern Ontario and be buried somewhere between Ignace and Dryden. And so these are all things we face. So next week, these 4 communities are traveling to Toronto to kind of beg for that forum to protect nipe. And you might see it on the news next week, but Soul Mamagua is supporting these remote First Nations, and there's other reserves that are starting to join in the alliance to try and protect that water. So that's where we come in as Anishinaabe, is doing those water ceremonies and empowering those actions that are happening. I see like Isaac Murdoch in California with a whole bunch of people, and he did an action today, and and there's like a lot of people with him, and he has his banners out, and Audrey will post up the banner that I'm hoping that they're gonna take to Toronto next week. Are people they're gonna go traveling by van. I think there's 15 people going by vehicle, and then the other reserves are also traveling on the road. So we wish safe journey for them. So when we talk about water, it's not just about, you know, doing the water ceremonies, but it's also doing things in our own home that protect water. And like when I drink my water, I pray before I drink it. I say miigwech for that water. It's just like a natural instinct or a natural learning that I'm doing with myself. There's one more thing is I have to share is there's also the negative part, and I don't want to share this, but I have to, because a guy actually messaged me and said, "You always talk about water. You know, why you talking about water?" And you know, he's saying you should do more than talk, you know, that kind of stuff. So like there's also those little, how do you call it, attacks that happen to us water carriers, water protectors. I want to acknowledge those water protectors that are in the front lines right now, and they don't get media attention. They don't get the news that they should be getting. Kanahus Manuel is protecting the Blue River against Trans Mountain pipelines and some other Squamish people out west. And they get attacked really deadly, like really physically, violently attacked. So like in that way, like we as water carriers, as water protectors, need to back them up. You know, we need to pray for them, or you know, sometimes I send them donations because they don't live within the Canadian lines, you know, like they don't get child tax, they don't get income tax, they don't, so they're just on the front lines. So like I want to acknowledge them. And I remember when Nona Leduc also was doing the Line 3 in Minnesota to try and protect water. So for nuclear waste, we were doing the nuclear waste forum in, I think it was in, oh no, I forget the date. I don't know if it was October or November, but we did a forum in Kenora, and there's like 20 people that showed up. And in our territory, like Treaty 3 territory, there is about, I think I heard there's like about 25,000 Anishinaabe that live in that, like real close to Kenora. So there's like 24 people that came, half of them were non-native. And so we need to really take this seriously with the nuclear waste, because like even like people in, you know, like all across Ontario, they'd have to move the nuclear waste from Southern Ontario, and they probably use like ships, and they probably use trains, and they probably use those semis. So they're exposing a lot of different populations with that nuclear waste, and then they're going to bury it. They say it's going to be in a safe place, like it's a mile down into the earth. But what's down there? Like, we don't have to be engineers to know what's down there. What's in those rocks is those little tiny cracks in the rocks, and what goes through there is nite. And then our watershed in our area, it goes towards Kenora, and then to Winnipeg, to Lake Winnipeg, and upriver to all those Inuit territory, Cree territory, all the way to Hudson's Bay. So people, they say they brainwash people with saying that nuclear waste is safe. It's in a capsule that's super safe, but with something that's so powerful and toxic, it still finds its way. Like if there's like 1,000 or 100,000 capsules, whatever, there's bound to be some, you know, that are broken. So that's what we face. And what we heard is that we have till 2024. Like we got a stall. We had a stall till 2024. So we got just that short time to voice, to protect water. And that could be like taking place in all your different communities and say, we're against nuclear waste. And you can make banners and put it in your yard, on your lawn, and say, I'm against nuclear waste, you know, and, you know, talk with your sisters, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, and say, we need to stop this. We need to not let it happen. Not for us, but for the little children that are not born yet. For us, we'll be all right. But it's for those little ones that are not born yet that are going to face that. So this is the banner. Trying to get it made rush order in Kenora. So it's no mining on the Anishinaabe territory. So all over our territories is this is Isaac Murdoch's artwork. It says we are here to protect water. And Isaac Murdoch says we can use that anytime, that banner. I mean the red outline one, so you can print that out. And if you want to print that out, you could put no mining on Anishinaabe territory, and then you can change whatever at the bottom, you know, like whatever you want. But so what that's what I wanted to share with you today, is that we are powerful people as water carriers, and to give voice to that water, and to the children that are not born yet, and to the young people that are, you know, going to be here for the next 50 years or 60 years. And it's giving them that hope, and even us voicing in our homes during, you know, our dinners or whatever, to be aware of that and to do our actions. Audrey and I were talking the other day, and one of the things she said was like just acknowledging water in our everyday lives and how we use water. And I was telling her, I mean, she was telling me like, you know, like in your home, how you use water. So one of the things for me is the dishes. When I do dishes, like I'm so aware of the water I use. Sometimes like I'll reboil my dirty water and pour it back in, so I don't have to use the hot water. And you know, like it's just a different way of thinking, to try and, you know, acknowledge that water every day in everything that we do, and just having it like in a simple way, like living with water in a simple way. I wanted to give my daughter an opportunity to say a few words. Did you see that? Yeah. To say a few words, and I asked her, what does water mean to you, like as a young person? Because I'm an old bukam, and I've lived my life. Just kidding. And so this is my daughter. She's a young person, and so I asked her, what does water mean to you? So what does water mean to you? You can have it.
So being the daughter of my mom, I'm made aware of so many things, like every day. And I was always raised around protests and singing and trying to fight for our land. And I know we have a lot of rights too. And I always see people on our water with their big fancy boats on spring-fed lakes, and it's just outrageous. And when we try to tell them, oh, that's a spring-fed lake, you can't have these big boats on there because it's going to harm the water. And they just get angry about it. And we're trying to protect this one spring-fed lake in our area, and it's so beautiful. It was the spot of the last Middaylin ceremony
1930s.
during the 1930s, and so it's a very sacred lake. It's surrounded by cedars and very old rocks, and I just get really scared sometimes for our water, and it's just really scary. I hope we can protect our water better, and maybe, I don't know, just there has to be something done before it's too late. Yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
Good. And we got like 15 minutes left, so we're going to sing a song. And when we're coming this way, me and my daughter, well, my kids, my two boys are here too. They're the ones taking care of the fire. Gave them tobacco to watch the fire for us while we're on here. And but on our way here, we saw an eagle, and the eagle was like coming towards us. Then it circled around like 2 times, and then it circled that way, like where we're driving. So it was, that's a good sign. So yes, come fix the fire. It's too smoky. Okay, so when she comes back, we're gonna sing that song for the eagle and reach dog in Ilkwa. I know you're on the line, so we'll acknowledge you too for your family that needs our prayers. Okay, we're gonna sing one verse because I know time. It's getting really smoky, guys, so we're getting our voice to fix it.
There's a cloud like a
Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to sing a song. It's called Eagle Song. Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Kesa kinu, kesa wanimeko. Yahweh, 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 one more verse. Yahweh, 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 Kesa genu, kesa wani meko. Yahweh, 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 Woo! So when I was singing that song, what was coming to me too was how when we do full moon ceremonies, we me and my daughter just started learning this is the moon water. When there's a full moon, we usually put like a glass of water by the windowsill, and it's a full moon, and they say that you put that water there, and the full moon water goes in there, and the energy of the moon goes in there. So we have that water, and we take sips of that water, and it actually tastes different. Like it tastes really refreshing. Yeah, like it's amazing. And we also have rocks. Like we went to Mount McKay, and we picked rocks from there. Well, just one rock, and then we put them on the windowsill too. Like we have crystal rocks that we use, like when we're having a hard time, we hold those crystal rocks. So it's just like all these many teachings that we as Anishinaabe carry. And if you have any questions, you can ask us, and I'd like to hear from the women, like really hard questions. And another thing I wanted to share before we are done is holy this big bunch of water coming down.
I thought that was boiling.
There's a thing that my niece said it's called knowledge hoarding, and that's one thing I don't want to do. I want to be able to share anything I know with the young people, and to let them know, you don't have to be like a certain Gamandauset, they call it. Like you don't have to be Gamandauset to do these things. You have to be Anishinaabe, indigenous, and but that's why I share the teachings. And one of the other things I want to share is like I'm not a Gamandauset, I'm not a Mandauset person, but I wanted to share, because every time I go somewhere is some young people don't have their spirit names. And a long time ago, what the late Dave Murdoch told me from Fish River is that we already have our spirit names, but we just gotta ask an interpreter to get that name for us. So if you don't have a spirit name as a Anishinaabe, find that name giver that's there. You give them tobacco and they'll find a name for you, like it's there. You just gotta ask for it. We all have our names. So I want to let you know I give names. I have that knowledge or that access to give names. So if you need a name, you come see me in Grassy Narrows with your sema, and I'll help you out. Miigwech.
That's beautiful, Judy. Miigwech for that. Miigwech to your daughter as well. That was a beautiful song. So we do have a question from Delphine Vincent. Regarding, and this is her question, so regarding the cup of water to leave out for overnight, is it for every night? Is there something or a prayer to be said when leaving out the water? Should it be the same cup or glass? How much water to put into the cup? And what should be done with the water in the morning? Do I just put it in the drain or do I use it to water my plants so not to waste the water? But I think you kind of answered this just before in terms of what you've been doing with the water when you do your full moon ceremony. But if there's anything else you can add to her question.
So for the full moon water, we do it right on the full moon, and you could find it on Google, right? When it's the right full moon, and we use a glass mason jar, you know, those spaghetti jars, classical. Doesn't have to be that kind, but just a glass jar, and you put it in the windowsill, and usually like when you next day you drink it, you can drink it all month. So to keep it fresh, you could put it in the fridge. You know, like you don't have, like, how do you call it? We put it we'll put it in the fridge, keep it cool, and then you just take sips throughout the month. And then when the next full moon comes, you get another fresh jar. But what it does is what we're finding when we use that full moon water is it almost like it activates inside of you on dreams. Like maybe you kind of got clogged up with, you know, in your mind or in your everyday life with things, and the moon water, somehow it activates that, like it wakes it up. That's what's happening with us, but for you it may be different. Like it may help you to feel more balanced as a woman. You know, when you drink that water, it's like maybe you feel like very sad all the time, or you feel angry, whatever. So when you drink that water, it balances you. That's how I see it. It could mean something else for somebody else though. I don't know, but that's what it means to me.
Neglect for that. Then we have another question from Stacy Gino. Are there protest gathering in Toronto next week that we can attend? And then Diane Brown Green asked, any information about gatherings next week she would love to know because she's not far from Toronto.
There's actually going to be a community dinner at a local church by the legislative buildings, and that's where it's going to be a public event, and they're going to feed the people there, and they're going to have like advocates there, like human rights advocates. So be like Christian peacemaker teams or Amnesty International, or like, you know, different groups are gonna show up there and maybe listen to us. So that'll be the only public event they're going to have, and it's only one day thing, so it's going to be jam-packed. They're going to the legislative buildings. Salma Nagla is going to ask a question, and then after that our people are going to go to have dinner, then they're going to leave next day. So it's like a really fast trip.
Meek Witch. And then Angela, oh yeah.
Maybe Audrey can connect me to that lady that asked, and I'll give the lady the address. I don't know the address right now.
Okay, we will get your information. So I will make sure that I have those two information written down so that we can forward that information. We'll email it. And then we have Angela Duckworth, who's wondering where they may find the lawn banner. So I don't know if it's the one that with what you guys just shared. I think that's what you might mean with the Isaac Murdoch artwork.
Oh, Audrey, can you show it again?
We'll get Jordis. Could you bring it back up again, Jordis, please?
So this is the one they're asking about, right?
I think so, yeah.
So actually, I'm just getting one made. Like I'm just making one. And that's for our people from Grassy that are going to Toronto to carry with them or put on their vehicles as they caravan to Toronto. So they'll be driving by with that thing. And but you can actually maybe, if you contact Audrey or Freedom, you know, they can send you, and you could just print it on a paper and put it on in your office, or I don't know. But if you want to make a banner, like that's another thing. Like I don't have banners that I can give away. I just got one made. But you can use this. You can use this, is what I'm saying. You know, figure it out. You know, ask Freedom or Audrey, like how you can get a PDF of this so it can be printed somewhere.
And I'll get her name as well. So we have your information. So I'll connect with you ladies who's wanting to give this. We have 3 more minutes before we have we're going to move forward to our next item on our agenda. I'm just seeing if there's any more questions. So we have a question from Tara Singleton. The crystal stones from Mount McKay, what did you do with them? Moonlight, and what do you do with them after? Carry them until the next full moon?
No, we live with the rocks. we got it. It's not a crystal. It's just a rock. Like if you go to Mount McKay, the rocks are really broken. They're like squares or rectangles. But what we heard is that the thunder beings used to live up there. And one time when my daughter had a really hard time, she was having a really hard time. So we went up to Mount McKay, we put our tobacco down, and we grabbed like a little rock. And then we're in our hotel room. And then next morning, she told me she dreamt of the room, and she dreamt by the mirror of the room. There's like a little tiny, tiny cloud. And she said it had little tiny lightnings coming out of the cloud. And she said she felt like she was awake, and she went and touched it, and a little lightning hit her. And when we woke up the next day, she told me, Mom, I had a dream. And so those little rocks we took from Mount McKay, that's the energy they carry, is the lightning, the thunder. So when we have them, we just have them on our windowsill. And we love rocks. So we just have them on our windowsill. And then we just learned, you know, that the Thunder Bay, Mount McKay, little rocks are really powerful. So we don't do nothing with them. We just live with them. Like they're just in our home. And sometimes at the end, you know, when we're shifting rocks, like we have so many rocks, we put them outside our house. We set them free. Like we put them around our house. So we got lots of rocks around our house.
Well, make wish for that. So we're actually now at 7:20. So we are going to be moving to the next portion of our session. But for anyone that has some unanswered questions, we do have some time allotted at the end of the session to answer those as well. So we just want to say make wish to Judy and your daughter for spending some time with us and sharing your teachings. And I imagine you're going to have a lot of people taking you up on your offer of coming out to Grassy to get their name from you. In fact, would be beautiful.
So like next, be a big convoy going there.
Yeah.
I just want to say to Judy, and is it Urua?
Urua.
Urua? Urua? Yeah, when you were singing, I really felt like it was like a recording from a long time ago. It was so beautiful. I just want to say to me, which I felt a lot of healing from that.
Oh,
and thank you.
Okay.
So Miigwech, ladies. So next, we're going to be moving over to our next guest speaker, Leanna Marshall, and she's going to be speaking on the advocacy of water. So welcome, Leanna.
Bonjour, kakana oya, wapingwan akwe nandago, kitchenamegusu bikan donji, mahinga nandodam, banase wakwedong nandijada away nongam, nambejiko medeo. My name is Leanna, and I am from Big Trout Lake, which is located in Treaty 9. I was born and raised in Thunder Bay. And thank you so much, Judy, and to your Donis for the teachings. I could be listening to her all day. I think we lost it. So thank you so much, Judy. And thank you, ONWA, for inviting me. So Judy and her daughter are in the TP, and we're in Zoom, and I'm gonna do a PowerPoint presentation. So we're gonna go like the opposite spectrum, mostly because for me I need images to keep myself on track. So just bear with me. I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay. So last night, I was reflecting on today and what I wanted to share. And it's always have a hard time planning what to say until the moment is upon us. But I thought I jotted down some thoughts. So we'll just go through it. So I just graduated from school as an Indigenized art therapist. And so if yous are listening and if you have access to any whatever, paint, clay, beadwork, embroidery, or if you just want to doodle, or make a sculpture of some sort with the stuff that's around you, I just invite you to do that, to move in the ways that you need to move as you're listening. My connection with the water started with my mother. I shared her womb with my Nijo Day, with my twin sister Jean, and that's where I started to think about is that with that water, that we all have that connection as we transfer from the spirit world into this physical world. And we're here for such a short time. Our bodies are ceremony right from the beginning, or what we think as the beginning. I am a mother to two dynamic and really fun and thoughtful children. Oopsie. And there's a picture of them there with their auntie working on a hide a couple of weeks ago. And I also use, as a creative person and as an artist in my own life, I use art and poetry to help process what I observe and the experiences that I have in this world. And I wanted to acknowledge all of my teachers, but to acknowledge that we're also all teachers to one another, including the land and all that resides on this beautiful earth that we get to call home. This is, for those of you who don't know, the gentleman in the picture on the right is Andrew Mandamin, and that is the late Josephine Ba's husband. And so he's a huge part of my life, and I spend quite a bit of time with him, just listening to his stories and just having fun. And he's a really big help for me and my family, and he's been a really big support. But he's definitely, along with his late wife, he's one of my teachers that I wanted to acknowledge. He's very supportive and kind. So when I think about water, I think that we all have a relationship of some sort with water. I understand that we all have a deep relationship with water. Just kidding. And I'm just going to share with you some of my thoughts and some of my observations that I see. In my day job, I've been a counselor for 20 years. And so my job during the day is I listen to a lot of people's stories, and I observe and just witness and hold space for people who are going through challenging times. And I will bring the water into the sessions and invite them to use cedar or some sort of medicine with the water, whether it's with a tea or a cedar bath, to help them with whatever that grief or that loss or whatever that struggle is that they're experiencing at the time. One of the past 4 years or 5 now, me and Sheila DeCourt have had the opportunity to go up to Peguis First Nation and spend time at a medicine camp. And some of the core values that they instilled in us were the 4 R's. And it's in the context of our relationships with the plants, the plant medicine, but also with the water, with all the entities, all the relatives that we're connected with. And so Kathy Bird talks about relationships, respect, reciprocity, and responsibility. And that as we move through the world, whether we're in the city, whether we're at work, whether we're out on the land or on the lake, wherever we are, that these values come to be values that we live by, that we practice, that we are able to conduct ourselves in this way as a way to honor our own relationship and our own responsibilities here on Earth. So all of us have learned from teachers, and we are also all teachers to others at the same time. I have walked and carried water with Bidasageba. My part was so small in the water walks. And I want to, like Judy, acknowledge the women who continue to protect so very humbly and quietly, and who continue to carry water and do the water walks. Water walking is an important ceremony because in that act of carrying the water, we are acknowledging both the water and we're acknowledging a part of Bidasageba's legacy was to help us as a collective to build our own personal and collective relationships with water or Nibe. So part of what I do in the world is I create art, and you'll see a bunch of pictures in this presentation that has this big skirt in it. And part of what I'm doing with this skirt is I'm inviting people to sit in it and pray in it and taking it to different places on the land that are considered special or sacred, or that I have a special connection with. So the skirt has been, this is at Old Woman's Bay, down on Lake Superior. And I also have taken it up to the top of an Mkiwachu here in Thunder Bay. Also Hillcrest Park as well, looking out onto the big water. And the purpose of this is to give myself, my daughters, and other people the opportunity to really sit with the land and to connect with water in whatever way that is. And it's a really beautiful experience. There's a lot of healing that happens. There can be a lot of tears and also a lot of laughter as well. And so this is a picture of my beautiful friend, Lisa Perriard, who's from Alberta, Northern Alberta. And if you know her, she's not one to wear skirts ever. And so to wear the skirt, I was so happy when she jumped in, and I was able to capture this beautiful moment of her of just, connecting with the land, with her ancestors, and with the water. As humans, we are all connected, and it's the elements and our own spirits that help with those relationships. We are living in a time period of human history where we, as a collective, have contributed to the destruction of our own home, Mother Earth. As humans, it is our very nature to avoid, to look the other way, and to minimize. It's an intellectual survival device. That doesn't negate the fact that we have deeply impacted the earth and all of our beautiful and generous relatives that reside here too. As equally as damaging, we have damaged our relationship with ourselves as individuals and as brothers and sisters. In my observation, how we as a collective treat the earth is reflected in our state of being. What I see is a climate of madness, violence that is fueled by uncertainty. However, it is the madness that is helping me to see and feel more clearly. In the arting that I do, I tend to be quiet about it. Making art and offering it to the world for me is a prayer. I acknowledge that water is a powerful force that is to be respected. She's not an entity to romanticize. She can take away life and just as easily give it. And this is life on this planet, this constant dichotomy or contradiction. So part of how I reconcile the contradictions that life is through one of my favorite words in Anishinaabemowin, which is Zhawenim. And so Zhao means to pity or bless, but not like to feel sorry for, but to like to humbly be, you know. And Anim that's indicating that it's an act by thought on, or it's a feeling sort of state. So Zhawenim in its whole means to bless or pity. It means to show loving kindness, unconditional love for him or her, and have mercy and compassion for him or her. Zhawenindawug is a pluralized version, so it's they're blessing and pitying each other. They have mercy, compassion for each other, and they show loving kindness and unconditional love for each other. Zhawenindawin is a noun, and it's a mutual compassion, loving kindness, and unconditional love. And Zhawenindazo is a verb, and it means she or he is acting in a kind way to him or herself. And so when I think about the water, when I think about when I get overwhelmed with the state of affairs that we are currently in, like we are in a major a major environmental crisis that was brought on by the economy and everything else with that. And I often, it's easy for me to ignore it. I think sometimes that's what we have to do sometimes, just to kind of get through something that's really overwhelming. But the days where I feel strong, I do explore how do we move through this? How can I, little old me, work through this? And that's when I look at people like Judy and the late Joe and all these other teachers who are so humble and quiet in their work, but yet they're such fierce, strong individuals who are really creating unity amongst us to be able to work together. Bringing it to you to just be curious about is what would happen to the world if we all started acting in a kind and loving way to ourselves. How would that ripple out into the world? How would it ripple out if we started to be humble and compassionate to one another, and not just in ceremony or not just in, when we're having those good feelings? Is that we need to remember that part of human interaction is that there is going to be conflict. We're not meant to agree with everybody all the time. That would be really weird if we did that, but we are meant to be understanding, and part of love is learning to be respectful to another person. And how can we do that in a way where it's going to better not just individual, but our communities, our families, and the earth, and the whole global family. So my question for you is, what acts of love do you show yourself? I'm going to invite you to everyone to just close their eyes just for a moment and just breathe. And as you close your eyes and connect with your body, what memories is Nibe holding with you? What are your favorite memories of water? And just allow those memories and those feelings to wash over you. Feel it, feel her, feel you. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes and just notice how you're feeling as you connect with that beautiful relationship that you have with that spirit of the water. Often I find, this is my daughter, my little daughter, Jawag, who's in the skirt. She's so cute. So often when we feel overwhelmed, we look to each other for like this mystery answer. But I think my message for all of us, including myself, is we get to choose how we respond, and how we respond to the current situation that we're in, with protecting our water, with ensuring that she's going to stay clean, with protecting the lands from the mining and from the nuclear deposits and all the things that are coming. Each of us have a responsibility to stand up, and we're stronger together when we're doing it together cohesively. So it's necessary that whatever we each decide, we get to decide how we're going to stand up and what that's going to look like, and that there's room for each of us. All of our ways are necessary, and all of them are needed right now. So I wrote a closing prayer poem, is what I called it. And this is what it is. This is for each of you. It is in how you love. It is in how you express your generosity, the way you hold your children and grandchildren, the gentleness of your thoughts, choosing different even when it feels uncomfortable. It is in the garden that you plant. It is in the offerings that you give the land. It is the kindness that you share. It is in your curiosity and openness. It is in the way we visit with each other. It is your fierceness to bring good life to the next generations. It is our laughter. It is our tears. It is within all the endless ways of expressing the various components of love and respect. It is all of us. The way that you love yourself will reflect on the earth. Budasage Ba was an integral part of this global healing, and so are you. So for those of you who are in Thunder Bay, this coming Saturday, Teresa, Joba's daughter, is hosting a round dance feast and giveaway, and it's going to be at the West Arthur Community Center from 7 until 1 a.m. So it's going to be a good time. So if you're in the area, please come. And also too, I wanted to point out that the past couple years, the water walks have continued. They've been led by Sheila DeCourt and as well as Sharon Manitowabi. And so if you're on Facebook, please look up For the Love of Rivers 2.0 Water Walk. These are all the dates and they're very organized. So these are the dates and the rivers, the times, and we need all the help that you can bring. So even if you can walk just for an hour, please come, wear your skirts, bring your kids, and come help support this. And then there's also another water walk that's happening out west this summer. It started last year, and it's the North Saskatchewan Water Walk. Again, you can find this on Facebook as well. Last year when they started this walk, it was extremely hot, extremely hot, and they had to call it quits earlier than expected because of the weather. And so they were able to see like how just firsthand the damage that's happening right in front of us. There's also just on the other side of the Ontario border out west at Manitowapi at Bannock Point, otherwise known as the White Shell Provincial Park, there's the annual Nibi water gathering. And that hasn't happened for a couple years due to the COVID. This will be the first year due to the COVID and also like some flooding that happened last year. So if you're around and you're interested, this is a wonderful gathering. Or so I hear. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, but there's some really good people that organize that. Also too, there is a group that's going to Scotland and at the end of April. Phyllis Shagabe and Laura Comwind, myself, and a few other people have been called to go there to do ceremony for the land and for the water. This is being funded out of our pockets. Everything's going to be done in ceremony. So we're just humbly asking for any assistance. If people have money that they're willing to donate, anything that you're able to, that would be greatly that would just be really wonderful. And I think that's all I have to share right now. I'm just really grateful to be a part of this, and Mio, a bitch.
Meek works, Leanna. That was beautiful. I just love how you come from your heart, and I know what you're sharing about, some of our elders and just how they come from that place of humbleness. And I think that just embodies who you are as well. So Meek Witch for spending some time with us this evening.
Witch freedom.
So next we're going to be moving over to Catherine Steele, who's going to be sharing the hummingbird water teaching with us.
Make witch freedom. So I have a story. There's a story about the hummingbird and how we could learn how to respond and react when in a crisis. Currently, we are facing a water crisis, sanitation crisis. So this is like, what can you do to help? One day, there was a large forest fire that broke out. All the animals ran for their lives. They stood at the edge of the blaze, watching the flames in terror and sadness. Up above their heads was a tiny hummingbird. He was flying back and forth steadily to the fire. The bigger animals asked why this little tiny bird, what was he doing? He replied, I'm flying to the lake to get water to help out with the fire. All the animals began to laugh and said, you can't put out this fire all by yourself. The tiny hummingbird responded, I'm doing what I can. The hummingbird is trying to solve a problem with one water droplet at a time. He's being the change that wants to see happen in the world. We can all be like hummingbirds. No matter how small the action you take, it will help resolve the impact in the water crisis.
Meek Witch, Catherine, that was beautiful. So for our next portion, we're going to be opening up discussion just for questions that anyone might have for any of our facilitators this evening. I know there was a couple that we had missed when we moved over to Leanna. So actually, Diane West, or if you look in the chat, there's a link to get the banner image from Isaac Murdoch's Facebook account. So from Diane Brown Green, a beautiful poem, Which Leanna. Another one from Anna Nieminen. I'm not sure, I apologize if I'm not saying your name right. Miigwech Leanna, for sharing your words, including your poem, and for inviting us to breathe as we connect with our memories while connecting to water, Nibe. As well, ONWA is honoring a water contest. So if anybody would like to submit a photo, video, write-up explaining what water means to you to be entered into a draw to win a water bundle prize. Submissions close at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening. And there's a link if you would like to submit something. So do we have any more questions or comments that anyone would like to share with the group? Audrey, is there anything that you would like to add?
I just, thinking and listening and all the work that, Josephine Baugh did and still carrying on, because a lot of the women are still carrying that water for her, and a lot of other women that have done it silently, that weren't public about it, that were walking and taking care of the water and protecting the water. And so it's really important that I feel like we're all water carriers, we're all life givers. And when I think about that, I think about the Nebe. And what can we do? What can we do? Small little acts like that little hummingbird, eh? That's a powerful story, and I love our stories because that's a powerful story. And and I think about how we're going so good. And with COVID too, we can't forget the lessons learned through COVID. And everything that it taught us, and it's still teaching us about the environment, about how pitiful we are. That means we're just so tiny here, like Leanne talked about that, just tiny. And so if we can make that little tiny change, each and every one of us, like, commit to it, and like Judy said, really speak about it. We really need to do that, because this whole thing cannot keep on going the way it's going if we don't smarten up as humans, as a yak, it's a serious thing. It's nothing that we should be taken lightly anymore, that we need to do it in our homes, doing those actions that are going to make a big difference in this big world. And like Judy said, and we always share that about our future generations to come, the babies that are not even here yet. I was looking at that image with the two, I don't know if they were two eggs, like two embryo sacs, like, and you're in the center, and it became two. I'm not sure what that image was, Leanna, but it reminds me of the water where we come from. And we come from all great, like right down the line, that water from our great grandmothers, and we lived in that water, and we came from that water, and our children's children, all those years, of living in that water, that's so sacred. And so I think about that. I think that's what pushes us to really protect the water, to do those little things that we need to do to make a big difference, like that hummingbird. I keep going back to that story. Miigwech, Catherine, for sharing that. That's a powerful story too. So that's what I want to share And I thank our honorary guest speakers this evening for sharing their knowledge and their passion and how committed they are to making change. And we'll be there to support those water walks. You know, we will be there, show our support. Aha, miigwech.
So we just have a couple more just comments from the group to share. Ashlyn Northfield shared that this was her first ever Water Day celebration and she has learned so much. Miigwech. And then Bobby Bannon shared miigwech for this beautiful session and the stories teaching shared so valuable. Didn't want it to end. We just want to say miigwech to everybody for coming and spending time with us this evening as well, right? And also from Stacy, can you? Miigwech, thank you to you all. This was wonderful. I got to honor the water with so much love. Truly a blessing. Be well. She had to leave. So if there's no other questions, and if Leanna would like to share what she's been encouraged to share, that'd be wonderful, Leanna.
Oh, yeah. So during the water walks, all the water walkers was taught this certainly wasn't just me. Joe, the late Joe would always encourage everyone to keep sharing these teachings that we all have to pick up. We all, and at the lodge, the old ones always say, you got to pick up the work. You know, change doesn't happen by magic. You know, we can say our prayers, we can do our offerings, but part of our responsibility is to do the work. So we got it all do the work, man. And so Badasage Ba would say, Naga Shichke Nibe Onji, I do it for the water. Do it for the water. So that takes our egos out of it. It's about something that's out of us. It's about life. It's about the future. It's about respect. It's about our love for life. And that needs to be reflected in all aspects of who we are. So let that water flow and to heal, to guide. And I just encourage everyone to just continue to build that relationship with water because she's not separate from us. Don't ever think that. She's a part of who we are, every single one of us. Miigwech.
Miigwech, that was, I think, a wonderful way to close our session. So if there's no other questions or comments that people would like to share with the group, we're going to have Audrey sing the closing drum song and prayer for the evening.
Aha, miigwech. I ask everyone to, you know, offer this sema tonight for the water, for our future, for the cleanliness of the water, for preserving the water, and talking to the water, singing to the water. I've seen so many miracles, even here in Anishinaabe, Gitchkaming, on the lake there at Sandy Beach. It used to be really dirty, eh? And I really believe that all our prayers that we put into the water, when we're there talking to the water, to the moon, the big Jesus, the night sun, Nokomis, our grandmother, I feel that all those prayers, it shows me that the water got clean. So beautiful there now to go swimming. And so the more we do that, the better life is going to be for our future generations to come. I always think about that. That's in my heart. I always think about make our ancestors proud, fight for the water, protect the water. So this song is a song about water. It's about being strong like that water. You can't, that water's so powerful. And so this is our closing song, giving thanks to our ancestors, pushing us along to be kind to all the elements, to protect them. That's why we were brought here. was we're supposed to protect all those things that give us life each and every day. So chimigwech to everyone who's come to this evening, and I hope I get to see you in person one day. We'll see you. Stay safe. Be kind to the water. Hey, this is the sound, the sound of creation. Without water, there would not be life. Miigwech. So have a great rest of your evening and take good care of yourselves. Miigwech.